Nice. That's good stuff. We're a little live right now. Just a little live. A couple minutes until the cast starts, and then we'll have discussion. So I'm gonna mute this for just a second, get a drink. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Corvus Cast. My name's Tim. Um, the jokes aren't funny. The host isn't particularly attractive, and everything we talk about is just pretty much made up, anyways. This episode is going to be pretty boring, honestly. There's not a lot to talk about. I've been trying to keep everybody updated on all the different things and happenings over the course of the last couple of weeks. And it's just kind of going slow, kind of at the moment. And the reason for that is kind of multifold. The government is in a shambles. There's there's just so much stuff happening. It's hard to keep up with anymore. Every day is a new thing. But either way, we're gonna get through it, and I think that Sabers are gonna be like the Zen place where people go to, where we find harmony in our lives to do work. Oh, it's terrible. All right, it's been a really long day. I've been out in the sun. My brain is baked pretty heavily. I can't see if I got sunburn or not. Maybe, but really tired, honestly, at the moment. So I know you guys don't want to hear about my problems. You want to hear about lightsaber stuff. So we'll go ahead and talk about it. Announcements wise, if you aren't in the Discord, you should be in the Discord. I'm going to keep plugging it every time people come to watch these videos. I should put it in the chat here. I think I got an invite. Let me get you an invite out of the Discord group here, and we'll throw that over there really quick. If you're not in the Discord, you should be in the Discord because we do a lot of things in the Discord, specifically the dev channel, among others, where we talk about all kinds of stuff. There's a pretty lively group of people that come and visit. Everybody comes and chats, and we have a really nice community basically getting started. I'm pretty excited about it. I really like all the people that are in there, and I'd like to get some more. But most of all, it's the closest way that we can get to connecting direct person to person. I've had a lot of people come to me with like new ideas and new designs and new. Oh geez, let's see here. Oh, you know what? It has copied. It has hidden the link. I'll put it in the chat. It's down there somewhere. The invite for the Discord. If you come to the channel, or if you come to the cast and you're on the Discord, if you come to the cast and you have a Discord account and you want to join the Corvus Discord, it's called the Roost, but everybody knows it as the Murder. You should come and join the Murder. We talk about all kinds of good stuff, like what video games we're playing, and also Saber things. It's mostly video game stuff though, but the Saber things are cool. Plenty of good people, plenty of fun, good conversations out there. So really want you guys to come and visit and communicate with me directly if you want to know or see or have something made. Lots of ideas have come from there. You are my muse, and I use those ideas to build more things. If you're like, hey Tim, it's a really good idea, I think we should have this part. I take that idea and I crunch it up and I put it in the old brain noodle, and out comes a part from Fusion 360, and then we have something cool hopefully in the future. Right now, I don't know. It just depends on where it fits in the thing. You guys have might seen a couple new emails going around. I've been trying to send out some more email traffic because allegedly the emails are the way that people get things, not people, businesses get things to people. I always thought that they were really annoying, and I always wondered why I get so much email traffic flow. Well, apparently it's a thing. So I'm building some email, I guess, automated flows to send out and communicate with you guys. I'm trying not to make them overwhelming. I hate that stuff. And if I could just keep it chill so where people can come and visit the site and get the things that they need without being overwhelmed and inundated with emails, that's where I really want to be. But I feel like some of them are a necessary evil. So I try to do like the one a month. I do any new releases. So you might see like up to 3 or 4 from me in a month. And I feel like that's enough, really. It keeps me front of mind. Number one is like the beginning of the month when we have We have the beginning of the month email. It's like basically the monthly update. And so you guys hear about it. If you're in the cast, you hear about it every 2 weeks. But most of the time, the monthly update kind of reviews everything in month in review. And then you'll see any new releases. And if the new release and the monthly kind of coincide with one another, they'll offset just by about a week. So I'll get you with the new invite or the new item, and then I'll get you with the monthly update, or vice versa. It'll be a monthly update and then a new item. If multiple items release in a month, then we got a really big problem because then my email list keeps going bigger and bigger. And so if I hit you with multiple emails in the course of a month, I'm hoping it'll only be like a max of 4. And then anytime you buy something from me in a couple of weeks, you're going to get a review request. And so it's really, really important for the business for you guys to hit up those reviews. So follow the links to the reviews. I've made it relatively simple and easy for you guys to get access to it. You can follow the link to the review, number 1. Number 2, you can go straight to your store, to your part of the store, like your account. And in your account, you can go directly to the purchase that you made and hit that review button and punch in a review. It doesn't matter if you type, or it doesn't matter if you put something in. It's just the reviews help because it helps to build that rapport with the community that people like to see. So if you're making reviews, I really appreciate that. If you're not, that's okay too. I don't mind. I just really appreciate you guys getting out there and putting my name out there into the different spaces, which leads me to another thing. If you are out in the digital spaces and you see like, hey, so-and-so, I'm building a lightsaber, I would like to do a thing, and I was looking at like VHC or somebody that's doing stuff with VHC lightsabers, like send them my direction, because there's not, I've found that it's, even though SEO has been working overtime, like all the SEO stuff that I've been doing has been working overtime. When you search up VHC lightsabers on Google, when you search up lightsaber, like VHC lightsaber parts or something along those lines, some of those really specific keywords will show up in and put me in like the top ranking positions in a couple of those areas. And I don't think it's just me. Like, I search myself periodically and I look. I think that other people can see this stuff too. And so, you know, if people are referring other people in the different social spaces for VHC, barring like any other like vendors' communities, like avoid that. Like, I don't say avoid their communities, but like participate in their communities, obviously. But like, you know, if you see like open universal communities, you know, like the ULC or the Vault or something, and someone's asking questions about VHC parts, send them my way. Just say, hey, Corvus Saber Foundry, add a link to the website, or add a link to me, the Facebook page, or you know, just generally find yourself something to drop a line in there and send them my direction, because apparently there's not a lot of people that know about me. People just search up, I guess, lightsabers on the internet, and then they go to the first person that pops up, and then they ask questions why their lightsabers haven't shipped, because there's a bunch of nefarious people out there in the community that are doing like sketchy stuff, which is really, really frustrating to me, that somebody could take something that's so fun and make it such a pain to be like associated with, and it's really frustrating that that's a thing. So yeah, if you see it out there, if you see people researching VHC lightsabers like in Reddit or in other discords like that aren't lightsaber discords, or you know, other places, like, hey, I know a guy who knows, he's got a bunch of parts that help you build like a basic lightsaber that's not super flashy and it looks like it's in universe. No, that's awesome. I appreciate that, John. That's a big thing. Like the word of mouth, I'm really trying to do this word of mouth thing without like going crazy with a bunch of like ads. Ads cost money, and I'm on like a shoestring budget trying to make this stuff work. And so I do ads periodically, but I don't do them aggressively like some businesses do. And so when I do the ads, it's usually when I have a surplus of money and I can throw at it. I probably need to dedicate more to ad spend, but it's one of those things that, you know, like, I'm okay kind of where I'm at right now, and I have like a plan to grow like over time and grow consistently, and so eventually there will be a point where there will be a tipping point where we'll have enough parts to be making like a gajillion different lightsaber combinations that you could possibly think of, and people will come to us from all over the place because they want to buy basic parts to build lightsabers with. Yeah, that's the vision, that's the hope. I hope we get to that point. So yeah, if you see that out there, if you catch people that are talking about building lightsabers, like, hey, recommend Corvus Saber Foundry. Like, I don't got a lot of like electronic stuff, so we can figure that stuff out. But if you just want empty lightsabers that look like they're kind of in universe, like, I'm your guy. I'm there. What's up, Joseph? I appreciate you you popping in and saying what's up. I see you got the number 2 crown. So I think that's it's like top poster or something. I don't know what that is right offhand. I gotta look at it. Oh yeah, top fans. That's what it is. You're in the top fan category. All 3 of yous. I don't know who else is out there, but I appreciate the interactions. It makes it a lot more lively and fun. Oh shoot, number 3. Top fans. Oh shoot. Okay. Where was I? We were talking about stuff. Oh yeah. Right now, there's a sale that is currently live. So it's fall, y'all. I don't know if you guys know that, but from like the 22nd, I missed a day actually. I sent an email out to everybody and said, "Hey, look for this sale planned around the 21st of September." And so I sent the sale out, and then the 21st was my anniversary. I'm a dum dum. I forgot. I didn't forget it was my anniversary. My wife and I had planned earlier in the month to do anniversary time, which we did, but the 21st was a particularly wild day for us. And so we had done something with the kids. I think it was like baseball or something like that. It was baseball, football, something, and it got just crazy. And I ended up passing out on the couch that night. And I woke up and I was like, "Oh crap! It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I really need to send out this message." And so it ended up not being that day. I ended up sending it out the subsequent day because it was too much of a drain on all the resources that I had at my disposal at the time. So I ended up going out a day late, but I let it run an extra day. And so basically you guys get from September 22nd until October 21st. And my hope is that allows people enough time to pick up all of the parts that they need in preparation for their Halloween costume, because everybody goes as a Jedi every year, right? Because that's what I do. I just put on my Jedi costume and I walk around the neighborhood with a lit up glow stick. And then I talk to people about my lightsabers and like, "Hey, this year the candy bucket is just lightsaber parts." And people are just gonna take lightsaber parts. "Here, build your lightsaber. Go do your thing." But that's not a thing. Don't come to my house expecting lightsaber parts in the candy dish. It's not going to be a thing. So the sale is live. It basically makes it 10% off every part essentially in inventory, like in the store. And so it accepts for previously discounted parts. So if you buy something, say like 2 pieces together, like the combo, the VHC combo. If you do that one, you're not going to get a discount on that because it's already discounted 10%. The 2 parts are discounted 10% together. And the intent behind that VHC combo was to make my parts competitive with VHC, in the sense that I normally pay $9 or $10 or $15 for a VHC part. Now I'm spending $10 for this part and $5 for this part, 10% 10% discount for that combo, and you end up with a part that's about the same price, a little bit less than a VHC part. And so it kind of balances out in the end. But overall, the entire store is 10% now, except for seconds, which don't count. They're already discounted like 50%. And then the other part is, previously discounted and seconds and new releases. Normally in the month that a new release occurs, I don't discount that part for that month because it's a new release. I'm trying to make back at least what I had made on the parts previously, before I start discounting it and basically I don't want to say giving parts away, but if I discount too steeply, I could end up with less money for the part than what I paid for it. So I'm trying to just keep that live and going. So hopefully you guys understand the reasoning behind that and make it a thing. So on to the really big news, the big, cool, important stuff. The big news, the stuff that I want to talk about is the big news is production. We've got 2 parts that are finished with production. They're currently in the mail right now. They're due to arrive Monday. So Monday is the big day. We're going to get, they're codenamed the Hydraulic and the Persephone, and those 2 will arrive Monday, probably in the middle of the day, which I will do a lot of adjustments and looking at them and measurements to make sure everything is square and inspecting them, quality control wise, and then we'll work on getting them up on the store. It's probably not going to be released until October. I've been doing this like 1 part a month thing, and I realized that some months I've been releasing multiples of parts in that same period, and it really shouldn't have been that way, because number 1, it makes it too busy, and number 2, there's just a lot of extra work that comes with that. And so if I stagger it out month to month, it makes it a lot easier on me as a person and the time that I have to be able to make all the different things that need to go together. So like, for example, like part listings, pictures that need to be taken. Let's see here. Part listings, people. I got a little agita today. Stuff going on. So part listings, oh my gosh, pictures need to be taken, and then any discounting, any sort of stuff like not just in the parts listing, but like I have some other stuff like goes well with, and all these other things you might see down at the bottom underneath, as well as like the digital pictures that come with it. All of that stuff is all wrapped up into my production flow, or I guess into my like launch flow, and then you guys get to see it when it comes out live. So my hope is I'll have that launched at the beginning of October, and then October will kind of transpire, and we'll see November's launch, which should be some of the parts that I'm going to show you tonight. You guys will be able to take a look at them here really quick. And I got to do some work. I think I got a Let's Design in here. I was going to take us over on this side, over here to the table, but the table is currently a mess, so we're going to skip that one just a little bit. It has been a mess because I've been building a bunch of different combinations of stuff back and forth just to see what I can come up with. Because I've got like a plan that I want to release around like Black Friday for like the Black Friday sale. So in case you guys were wondering, I think I mentioned it earlier in the year, and I kind of gave you guys a plan. I kind of gave you guys the plan of all the different holidays that we released. So I had like spring sale. So the 21st of March through April was the spring sale. The summer sale was the 21st of June through another part of like July, and then basically the fall sale is from the 21st of September through October sometime. And so there'll be a couple of others sprinkled in, and the other big one is going to be Black Friday, and then I'm not doing any more sales until the new year. New Year's going to roll over. I don't want to bog everything down with Christmas. It's just going to be too crazy. And with all the stuff that's happening in my personal life with the family, it's not going to be conducive to like good family time for that holiday season to have a sale running while I'm actively trying to like chase down all those pieces and do all that stuff. And so it's really just going to be limited to spring, summer, fall sales, and then we'll have a New Year's like release like party thing where we run a couple different parts, different releases, different things through that I guess scale of things. And then the more important part of this was it was intended to slow down kind of the sales and not fatigue you guys so much, because what I was worried about last year was I ran so many sales back to back that it felt like everything was 10% discount. And so when people would look at my parts, they would not want to buy because they're just like, I'm just going to wait for another sale. It's just going to be discounted. And that would be like every month there'd be like another sale, a flash sale or like a long sale or something like that. And so the reasoning behind, like my thought process was if I just priced my parts like 10% less than what I would normally price it and then not do as many sales, people will just buy the parts normally. And so that's kind of what happened. I tried to like knock my prices down just a little bit over the course of the year so that the prices were kind of normalized across it. But yeah, we'll see what the inventorying happens this year. Whether or not that happens, I might have to keep them where they're at because the weather in the politics right now is kind of rough. So anyways, let's see things that are in development right now. I've got four adapters. I'm going to show you here really quick. We're going to stop over to this other scene, and I'm going to show you here. I've got 4 adapters that are currently sitting with this. I guess I call it the guy in the garage. Hang on a second here. I got to add a thing. I had an update that happened with my OBS, and it's really annoying. It happens every 2 weeks, which just happens to coincide with my video capture. Not video capture. It just happens to coincide with the cast. And so it's really kind of frustrating because the cast is supposed to be showing. That's not the one we wanted. I just made a mistake, a big boo-boo. Let me see here. Let me fix this. Boop. There it goes. I'll get my giant dome out of there. Sorry about that, guys. Well, because of the way that the because of the way that OBS updates. It does it every 2 weeks, and it did a thing where every time it updates, it changes all the settings inside of like the viewport, right? So this viewport that you guys have, and so it blows my camera screen up, so you can't see. And so now I wanted to add that and fix it, and it's just kind of frustrating now that I have to fix that now. But I'll change it back over here in just a second. Alrighty, so here is the 4 parts that we have going into a sampling here soon, and it's just a cross section of like miniature choke adapters. This here is the mini choke. I call it the mini choke straight adapter. It's just a straight tube basically with some radiusing on it. This other one up here to the north is a angled version, and each one of these kind of call on what currently exists. What currently exists. Pardon. Sorry, something's catching my breath tonight. These are all based on something that currently exists or previously existed in the other chokes, and so something that came to mind, and I'll talk about it here in a minute when I start the Let's Design segment, was that we have I've got this short version here. There needs to be kind of a mid-range version, like in between the two, that still is female like the other choke. And so I'll show you that in just a second. I haven't worked on it yet, so we might do that as the actual Let's Design, and it might be just as simple as opening up the Let's Design, or not the Let's Design, as simple as opening up the choke that I had working there and trimming down some of the fat off of it. But anyways, this here is the round version. Another short mini choke, and the diameters on these are actually smaller. They're 31.5 millimeters as opposed to 33. So they're just a little different than what you would currently see, and that's designed so that there's some increased interest in the areas where these chokes are at. They're a little bit smaller in diameter. They have a little bit less surface area to play around with, but they still interact well with all of the accent rings that you could potentially want to put on them. These are 2.5 millimeter or 2.25 millimeter gaps. 2.25 millimeter lands roughly. Let me see here. If I can just get them to work. Yeah, 2.25. That's the one. And then this last one is what I'm calling the cam adapter. It's the new cam. You guys can probably see it over here. It's marked as the new cam. It's supposed to mimic kind of the top section off of the Ki-Adi-Mundi extension that is released from. It's attached to like the Ki-Adi-Mundi like lightsaber from Nexus. I'm not particularly like a huge fan of the whole saber in general, but I did like this one piece actually. And if I had an example here, I would be able to show you. But this one is shaped a little bit closer to the designs of what I'm trying to get to with my system. And so, you know, this gap right here, or not this gap, this land is 2 2/4, and so it interacts nicely. And I think that it's actually a 33. It's a 30 millimeter. It's just a little bit smaller. So it's a 30 millimeter adapter. It's just something to catch the normalcy of a cam. And so these 4 are currently in the guy with a garage and a machine plan. I'm looking in here for any of the open. Let's see, any of the open documents that I've got here, and we'll go ahead and read only a couple of these because I always forget to do this. I always forget to do this when we get ready to jump into this stuff. Let's see here. We're at about the halfway mark. I think we've gotten to an area where we could probably jump into a Let's Design. I think last time I did like a 20 minute or a 10 minute like quick design on something. So I didn't have a ton of time to wrap up the meeting the last time. But and so at the moment, I guess we're kind of at this point where we don't have anything in production, and that's kind of a weird space for me because we've always had at least one thing in production the entire time that I've been doing this, and so it's kind of like uncharted territory. It feels a little weird that I don't have something that is immediately is going to be immediately ready. I think that those 4 things that I showed you, those might be ready pretty quick because the plan that I have with this new guy is I'm gonna start doing like smaller runs of stuff, and it's not because I don't want to spend the money on a larger run, because the overall that whole run is going to be about the same cost as what a normal run of 100 on a single part is with this other company that I'm working with, my main company. But I think that I want to go with this other guy for doing the diversity work, like the more diverse. Let's see here, what's the word I'm looking for generating more diverse product, like making more things that are more diverse over a certain period of time. And so, getting more product out there in more designs and more variety is what's really important, I think, to get people to come over and pick this stuff up. And then once interest is shown in those items, moving them into something that's a larger production model is an important move, I think. And so I think that getting a smaller number of quality parts out there into the space for people to be able to use and work with and try, I guess we'll try it. And then if interest is there, if all of them sell out and we lose and they all go away, not lose them. If everything sells out and everybody's really happy with them, then we know that we've got winners on our hands and we can pick them up. So it can be incorporated into like that production, that testing and production phase, where if something is good, then we pick up more of it, kind of thing. So we'll go ahead and jump back here. I gotta pull up the screen for these extensions and chokes really fast, because I gotta double check and see what this looks like. These chokes were built in a certain way. Let's see. I think that I built them. Yeah, I built them the bad way. So yeah, let me pull that screen up and I'll show you what I mean, like the bad way. This isn't really the bad way. This is just a different way. And so when somebody talks to you, or like if you talk to somebody about like designing in CAD or designing in like Fusion 360, you can talk to people and you can determine that there are about 100 different ways of doing these things inside of Fusion. And so one way, when I was early in the process of designing parts, I used a rotational method or a revolve method. And so what you do is you draw your polygon in the shape that you want, which is this, polygon shape that I had highlighted there. It went away. I had highlighted. And so that you can actually see that this went through an iteration while I was working on it. And so this used to be a male-female design, and I changed it as I went further down into it. But basically the original look here, I could take it back all the way to this point for the revolve. So that's what my revolve originally looked like. And so I'm kind of walking you guys through the process. So this is kind of cool. I think I might have even designed this on the cast, maybe. I'm not 100% certain. But this was going to be a male-female VHC part, and then I decided, you know what? I think the female-female version is going to be better because it's more versatile all the way around. So I'm actually talking to the camera as if I'm still videoing myself, which is really unsettling for me, kind of. But yeah, so the design as you see it now was male-female. Now as I move back through, you can see where I made the adjustments. And so I'm going to kind of refer back and forth to this to make sure that I'm tracking it correctly and getting all the features the way that I wanted. This outer diameter is 33 and this inner diameter is 28.49 apparently. I don't know why that's 28 and a half, but that's okay, I guess. We'll call it 28 and a half. We'll just go with that. And this one's 32 and a half. 32 and a half. 32.6. Okay, we have our numbers. We're going to go into another and build a shorty. Hang on. Let me check and see how long this sucker is. I think it's actually like 30... It's 41 millimeters. Oh my god. Okay, let's look at this really fast and see how tall that one is. If I could click it. And that one is 14. So let's see the math between 41 from 14. I think that we're in like the 25, 28 range is probably a good number for this. So we'll go ahead and put this in. You know what? I do want to put my face in here, so I need you guys to just bear with me. I want to put my face in here because I just want you guys to see and connect with me. So Stand by 1 second. I'm going to put this display, or I'm going to put this this vidya in here. Let me see what I got. I got video capture 1. Video capture device. Yeah, that's the one. All right, stand by 1 second. We're going to turn that on. We're going to fix this. This is bad. This is terrible. So bad. Okay. Make sure that I got this set correctly. I think that's right. Oh man, what a terrible time to be setting up your settings. All right, here we go. We're back at it. Got my face. You can see my dumb face, and I've got the numbers. I think that we said we want to do 25 to 28. Let's do 26. That's probably a safe space. All right, here's a let's design. Let's go. Okay, we'll do a simple 33 and extending that 2.5 or 2 1/4, excuse me. And I think that was 32.6. We said that 32.6 or 32.8. I'm going to be referring back and forth just a second here. 32.6. That was the number we said it was. 32.6. Yep. I don't know what the distance on that was, but we're probably in the range there. Just bear with me here. I'm popping back and forth. We're going to take a look at it here. This is something I probably should have prepared for, but I did not. Bad, 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 bad. .5. We'll call it 6.5. Yeah, it's not bad. Too far. Still too far. Oh my goodness. This is bad. Bad night. Let's just pull that out of there. Pull this back too. We'll just do this. I am not good with public math. I'm just going to forewarn you. I want to delete that really fast. Delete it. Okay. 2.25, 6, 6.5. Let's go. I need that one. Okay. Man, why is it doing that for me? I don't know why it's acting like that. Okay. That is what I wanted. 2 1/4, 5 1/4, 6 1/4. I need 6.25, 6.5. Okay, there we go. We got that number. And we remember said 28.5 for the inner. We're going to run that about 15. Because we got 6.5 on the top, right? 6.5. So this number here is 6 1/4, 4 1/4. Jeez, my math is terrible. 4 1/4. One cool thing about this is we will be able to do a, let's see here. If I need to just adjust something on the end of it, it won't be too hard to just slide one of these settings just a little bit further. It's actually a better way of making it than my previous versions that I made because it allows me to adjust things kind of minutely inside of that space. All right, 2.25, 4.25, that makes 6.5, that makes 6.5. All right, good. We have a 6.5. And we'll just start chipping across all of this and making a chamfer here. pull off of that. That's really irritating that it did that. Okay. Chamfer time. So I'm actually not like super fond of kind of the way that that is chamfering. It feels like it's not quite the way that I want it to be, but I'll make it work. This will work. Let's do 2.05. That'll do. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay. Samesies here. 0.05. 0.5. 2.05. Yep. That's the joint. That's what we want. Okay. Seems like that's a pretty small. Seems like that's a pretty small one there. Not a huge fan of that, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And I'm gonna adjust this from here. 256. That's too big. Take that back just a bit. Let's try it again. That's what we wanted. 25.6. The reason for that 6.5 on the outside is to account for this 29mm cavern that we're putting in here for each of the thread patterns. So if I cross section this, and I'm going to show you this in wireframe, this is 1mm of distance, which doesn't seem like much, but for aluminum it's not too bad. And the reason why we wanted that, well, I have to pay attention to this because if I take it 1mm further, you end up here in the danger zone where things get really skinny and it can crack and make all kinds of problems. And so this doesn't seem like much, but this is intentionally, it's part of the design intent. The design intent is to make sure that there's enough safety margin in there for the threads to come in. So we'll go ahead and set this back. Whoops, set it back to shaded visible edges. Done. Bam. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, I'm gonna try and catch the other side over there with it. What did I hit? What is that? Okay, I got it. I did catch it. Something was like displaying funny, and it was catching it in a kind of a weird way. So we'll go ahead and drop a thread on here, and I want to throw in my alloy thread. This is my profile thread, and we'll put a little chamfer in here to catch that like so, and there we go. And so if I save this as the, let's see here, let's do this. Let's save it as the save that in there, and then we'll start in on what the next one is. And this might upset you guys a little bit, but let me show you what the Type 2 did. I think that I did this. Yeah, I think I did this with a. Let me see, how did I do this? Maybe. Let's go back a little bit. See how we did the circle. I don't remember if I did the circle as a revolve or, let's see, what did I put in here as a sketch? No, I actually drew the, well, that's annoying. Now I gotta go and figure out what this stupid thing's gonna be. I actually drew the sketch, which is dumb. I don't know. I think I did a center point arc between these two. And so I need to go look at what that sketch was. I don't know where I put it. No, that's not it. It must have been in this one. Yep. Let's go back and look at that. How do we do that? Yep. Okay. Yeah, it was a center point arc, is what it was. We're going to try something different here, though. Let's do this. We're going to do that. We're just going to fillet this. Oh, man. Okay, so that's a prime example of finding... That's a prime example of finding an instance of doing one thing one way and then clicking a button and finding it the easiest way, the next way. And so I basically did all the work of drawing another arc by just jamming together one full fillet of these. And I could take this out even further if I wanted to. Like I could take that almost up, basically all the way flat. I could bring it back down here. So I actually just want to do probably something like that. I'm not sure exactly how deep the one goes on the type 2. It goes 1, 2, almost 3 deep. Let's see. Let's see here. It's 1, 2, 3. It's almost 3 there. It's not too bad. We can bring that up just a little bit. Actually, one thing I should do is this. I should do this. Let's look at what the style here is. Go wireframe. Oh, we got a gajillion miles to work with. Holy cow. Let's edit that thing. It's at 24. Can actually take it pretty deep there. I kind of want it to stay as close as I can to what the original one looks like, so we'll actually just bring it up to that line again, I think, and let that be real nice. Real easy. Yep. Bam. Okay, now we have 2.1? 2.1. We'll call it 2.1. I'm just calling it 2.1. It's not actually 2.1. It's just whatever. It's gonna end up being whatever it ends up being. But so I'll put these generationally together, and I'll show you what they look like. Kind of all three pieces in the same sitting. I think that they're pretty close together in looks. Put a chamfer on the outside edges. I think I got the chamfer on the inside edges already. Yep, that's good. And I want to put just a little fillet on here. We'll go 2.5. Yep, that's nice. Very nice. Very nice. I like that. Yep. We're going to save that as 2.1. And I'm done for the night. My work is done here. Just kidding. All right, let's take that off of here. Let's take this off of here, and we'll take that off here. Nope. We'll go ahead and clear that out of here. Nope. Let me get all these things out. Let's unpack them. Okay. Choke type 1. Choke 1.1. Choke 2. Choke 2.1. And then we'll grab the adapters, which were the mini choke round and mini choke angled. Bing, bang, boom. Got them. Check and check. Okay. Yep. Just imagine if I had all of these parts all at one time, like to be able to play with, right? All right. Let's go up here. Let's go generationally. I got 1 and 1.1. Let's do this mini choke angled here. And the only reason I'm doing this is I want to see them all together in one sitting so that I can adjust them as I see fit. So for example, if I didn't like the shape, so like see how close that is? That's pretty close. It's fairly close together. I could probably expand this by just a little bit to add a little differentiation to that, but it's important to do this evaluation right here and look at it from that perspective. So you see how short those adapters are. So we'll do this. I literally just want you to move like 0.5 millimeter. Thank you. Okay, that's that. And we'll catch the mini choke. Ooh, that's not the mini choke, but that's the 2.1. And mini choke round. Let's get that out there. Okay. That's the spot, I think. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay, so that's in a nutshell the kind of the items that I'm working on right now. And I'm thinking about pushing like this second smaller design here of the adapters, right? Not just the adapters, but of the chokes. I really like the chokes. I really like the way that they play. I really like the way that they play with the parts. As we get them, and having a nice smaller choke would be nice too. You know, I don't really care like what shapes these things come in the sense that like honestly anything can be worked, anything can be done. I think that the electronics can change based on what the outsides are, rather than the electronics need to influence what the outsides are. You know, basically I've seen people build lightsabers that are like 6 inches long or less, and I think that with what we're working on and what we're playing with right now, I think that we could do a core in 6 inches relatively easily. I think VHC is currently at 6.5, and I think that they have even smaller ones now too. Now that they have like the character versions, but they still depend on like the switch mechanism to make them work. And I say the character versions, I mean the I don't want to say indexable core, but they have a specific type of core. It's like a character core that goes in. And so when they released that, they added a button component as well that goes with it, that actually is hidden in the button assembly housings of all the lightsabers. And so what you have is like the core that's like 5 or 6, and then the button, which is another 1.5. And so overall, you still end up with like a 6-inch core. Excuse me. I got to stay hydrated. Overall, you still end up with like a 6-inch, 6.5 or 6-inch core. But I think with the right electronics guy working with me, I can get to a point where we have a shorter overall core. And so I don't know what the future holds right now. It's going to be a little busy. It's going to be crazy. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of things moving, a lot of moving parts. It's really frustrating that it has to be the way that it is. I just think that I gotta find the right guy to help me out with the electronics piece, and I think I know who it is. I just gotta get in their ear and ask some questions about it. But that's I think that's it for the Let's Design portion here. I don't think I have anything else that I was working on other than I had some emitter stuff that I was playing around with, and this is kind of something I guess we'll say is pipeline. It's still in design pipeline, so I'll go ahead and pull these out. I was goofing around with some stuff. I showed everybody kind of this design when I was working or when I was playing around in the Discord chat. I don't really think I unveiled it. Man, my brain ain't working. I don't think that I unveiled any of it in here, and so I'll go ahead and pull it out. And so I haven't been one who's like super big on being exact and precise and perfect in all of this. I've just been trying to make the things happen. And so like I'm not leaning heavily or too heavily into the accuracy of the parts necessarily. I'm leaning more into getting close to what the look looks like, shaped for VHC. And so this is one component that I've been aching to get my hands on. It's a properly scaled and sized Obi-Wan Kenobi outer balance pipe for VHC. So it's for the shape and size of VHC. And kind of like all of the pieces that I've been working with in VHC, I've tried to make it with a couple of specific design elements. This one happens to have a 3.5 or a 3 millimeter depth slot in it. I think I'm going to reduce that to a 2.25. But the key piece here is it's kind of this piece, right? This is called the balance pipe. And this is actually the emitter section, but these components come from an airplane, a Rolls-Royce engine, and it's called the balance pipe. And so there's multiple sections, but the balance pipe is layered. And I really like that layered look. I think that it looks really, really cool. And so my journey on this was to create something that looks kind of in universe. And remember I said something about like show versus go in one of the last shows. I said like show versus go parts. And so this is an example of an emitter cup, which is basically the lower portion or the upper portion as you're looking at it. And then this balance pipe inner portion that screws in essentially like that. And it looks just like the Obi-Wan Kenobi balance pipe section on the Obi-Wan Old Ben OWK Obi-Wan Kenobi from episode 4. And so it has like the right shape, it's got the right dimension, and it screws in for VHC purposes, right? So that would be the show piece that we were talking about before. That something that you could just screw into the end of your lightsaber and then put a blade plug in or something like that that just fills the space, and it would look like the Obi-Wan Kenobi emitter piece. So taking that out, this would have been the other component that would go in there. This is the go piece, or the component for the go portion. And so this essentially just ends up being a normal threaded, I guess we'll call it emitter cap or emitter piece, that it still has a nice look to it. It just has the one screw hole in it. I suppose I could put a second screw hole in it, kind of offset at the 90, which is kind of like the optimal, for me personally, if you're using it for dueling, which I don't know why you would use this for dueling, but in this one, just because this particular thin neck has a not very deep blade depth, but for use like that, my optimal is a 90-degree blade retention arrangement. So Vire is actually producing it now, and I can't say that I had any words or parts about it, but the original blade retention pushes one way, right? And so in your tube, it kind of squishes your tube, right, like this, and it pushes it just with one pin against the back wall of your emitter. And so when you put a second pin on here, it actually kind of just wedges the whole tube in one direction. It sounds like there are giants stomping around above me, and I'm sorry if you guys can hear that, but my kids are stomping, I think, in the upstairs, making a bunch of noise. The 2-pin arrangement for retention pins pushes evenly against that, and it ends up sandwiching it kind of inside of the emitter, so it makes for a much more consistent pressure inside of your emitter. And so anyways, this is one of those parts, one of those components for this. And then there was one other piece to it, which was the actual lower, which was like the lower arrangement. I'm not sure. I think I put it in the VHC adapter section. I gotta go find it. I'm not exactly sure where I put it. I gotta look for it really quick. It is, it's basically one of the ones that, it's one of the ones that's, I think I put it in the thin neck wasp waist category. Yeah, that's the one. Because it's a base. Thin neck base, thin neck base, base. That's the one right there. Boop. Lower emitter. So we'll go ahead and pull that out. So this is the other component, the lower emitter section. So the 4 of these together would create your Obi-Wan Kenobi, essentially emitter section. Let me get that out of here. The 4 pieces together, yeah, 4 pieces. Let's move it. And so the design of this section here was to quite literally emulate what that nested look looked like. And so if you look at what you spied, the super pipeline CG, yeah, it's in there. I'm not really hiding anything. You guys can see it. It's not a big deal. I can pull it out here if you guys want to see it too. But basically this structure here is designed to create that lower nested, like Obi-Wan Kenobi look. I'm trying to get it to move. It's not wanting to shuffle. I need one more movement that way. Yep, that's the right way. Okay, it closed that gap inside there. Sorry. My voice is really ragged today. We had football, and I was hollering at both my kids, my daughter cheerleading, and my son playing football. But anyways, this is what your Obi-Wan Kenobi emitter would look like. And the reason why this is the way that it is it's designed to capture that nested look on the lower portion of the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wish I had a source image to show you, but basically the reason why it looks that way is on the original, the balance pipe section, the area that's got all the holes in it, in the circular pattern, on the circular pattern, that actually passes all the way through the bottom side of it. And so this outer piece here is actually connected to the inner portion as a layer to it. And so I was trying to capture that layered look and make it really interesting and fun and still be able to build and be functional. I think the depth on this, if I run a number here, is it's a little shy of 1 inch, so it's not perfect. I probably need to expand it out to a little bit farther off, but they do make what is it called? I'm trying to think of it. They do make blades with recessed blade pins in them, and so you can set your blade on over the pin mechanism, like over the pins themselves, and the pins will nest inside the base of the blade, right? And so it basically does one of these numbers. The blade will fit over your pins up to a certain depth, and they do that to support thin neck emitters. And so I don't remember which blade company does it. I thought Bendu did it for a while, but there are some other companies that do like a nested, like pin arrangement that you can get that to work relatively easily with a 1 inch deep emitter section. So maybe a little bit more coming. There's some more development that needs to happen, and I think I need to push this down just a little bit further to expand that, or build this piece up a little bit higher. It's not really that big a deal. A 1 inch emitter isn't outside of the norm. It's normal across pretty much all the Saber community to have a minimum 1 inch emitter section. So yeah, so these ones are still kind of pipelined, still messing around with them. I really want to get an Obi-Wan Kenobi emitter out there. I think that it'd be really cool to have. But these other ones here are pretty interesting to me. Let me get back to my emitter section here, and I'm going to show you these guys really fast. And then that's going to be the night, I think. So I was playing around with some emitter shapes last night, or a couple nights back, and I thought that they were really cool. I thought you guys might like them. And they're kind of along the same lines as the Whirlwind, because the Whirlwind was really well received. You guys voted that one in for whatever reason. You guys liked it. And so I'm cool with that. I like it. I think it's neat. So here's one that I thought was kind of cool. It would go really well inside of like an Anakin, or a shrouded emitter, where you have like kind of a little bit of a choke to it. There at the top, that choke here is only about, it's only about 14 millimeters wide, so about the same width as the one that we just designed. But it kind of has this nice flange at the top. I thought it was cool looking. I think I've got a couple more in here that I was playing around with. Here's a, if I can get that to land. Let's go. What's it doing? Uh-oh. Oh no, it's crashing. Oh, there we go. Okay. We got it. We got it. All right. This is the emitter type 5, and the reason why it looks so dark is because it is knurled. I probably need to back that knurling off just a little bit. It's pretty intense, but it's intended to be fine knurling, so this would be underneath of, this would also be like an under shroud type of emitter section. It's 33 millimeters. It doesn't have any like big flanges or anything on it, so it would be one of those ones that's designed to go underneath of a set of shrouds or some such, right? Let's see here. I think it did this one here as well. I'm not a huge fan, but this one is another one that would go underneath your shrouds. I was kind of looking at ways to build kind of unique, a unique emitter set that would go underneath of underneath of a shroud or in proximity to a shroud. And so this one kind of has like a hex or a 6-piece like cut in it with a stepped emitter on the end of it. That's the end interest, and because it's there in that shape, you know, this was kind of designed. This piece was kind of designed to go underneath of another like emitter shroud or some such. It doesn't really matter which one it was. Let's see, and I was experimenting with I think a Terran Malicos look, which I wasn't fully happy with. I'll pull it out just to see it. I was experimenting with a Terran Malicos kind of style, but it ended up not being the way that I liked it to come out. So, not a huge fan exactly of the way that it's shaped. It's close, but not quite there. Again, you would have the retention probably here on it as opposed to up here, and this is actually 36 millimeters as opposed to 33. So it's a little bit bigger in an outer diameter, and you can see that here as I kind of settle it up against. You can see it's probably 3 millimeters there, higher than this, with a decent shape to it, but it's whatever. Yeah, the next emitter that is going to production, and I think I'm probably just going to contract the company that I was working with previously, is going to be this guy here, which is the where'd it go? That one, palmitter. The Monarch palmitter. It'll be the second piece. So this here will be this will be the next one that goes to production, the Monarch palmitter. This is based off of the Monarch. If you cut the end off the Monarch, I thought I had one on my desk here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. That's based off of essentially this part. So if you chop this top flange off of it, you would end up with what that looks like. It's not perfect. It's not intended to be perfect. But yeah, it could be a thing. It could be a thing. You guys voted for it, so it's going to be coming. This is the shape that you guys voted for. I think I have to look at what the Discord says, because I think it's pinned up there. But yeah. And Joe, to answer your question, yes, technically that would put me clashing with Fire, but you know what? There's going to be a collision course at some point. Corvus Saber Foundry is going to keep growing. I'm going to keep adding parts, and they're going to be different. So, I'm not going to make my own. Probably not going to make my own electronics package necessarily, but I'll probably look to somebody to make an electronics package for it. So it would be when you buy my parts, you would go look to that individual to have them make you the electronics package for it. As opposed to me providing the electronics package. I actually just like making the parts. I think this is the fun part for me. And there's other people that are way better at doing electronics than I am that can design all that stuff on the interior. And I'm just going to say, here, you take that. I don't want anything to do with it. Unfortunately, it's a reality of what I have to do. And so, I'm not electrically inclined like a lot of people are. It's just something that my brain avoided for years, and I'm just not very good at it. I should probably learn it, honestly, but we're at the 9 o'clock mark. This has been a busy cast. There's been a lot of stuff kind of swirling around, a lot of activities and things happening. Did discussions about the Discord. We talked about the email traffic that's flowing, the sales that's live. The annual fall sale is still live. It'll be live until the middle of October, or the middle end of October, probably right before Halloween. So get all the parts you need for your Halloween lightsabers and do that stuff. We talked about what's in production and what's currently coming. We've got the hydraulic flange, or the hydraulic emitter, and the Persephone, which are basically the Perseverance rover styled emitter ring or flange, and then the new emitter tip that's coming. So 2 new parts that are going to be showing up in the emitter section on the website here soon. And then we had some discussions on the left design. We talked about the 4 things that are going to go to the guy in the garage with the machine. And then we showed a couple of things that are in development and did a couple Let's Designs to make some new parts for you guys to look at, which were basically old parts that are redesigned. So that's kind of the recap. That's everything that's done. If you guys aren't on the Discord, you should get on the Discord and come talk to me. There's a lot of people there in a great community, and we talk about all kinds of things. If you're not there, join it. Let's get there. Let's see here. I guess for Corvus Saber Foundry, my name's Tim. This has been the Corvus Cast. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace out. See you guys.